Track wrestling here at Camp Pendleton, World Team Training Camp with national team member Richard Perry. A year ago, leaving Colorado Springs, training camp out there, you sat next to me on the flight.
Yep.
Told me your story about how you got started in wrestling. It's a phenomenal story. Can you tell it for all of our viewers back home?
Oh yeah. So I started wrestling as a junior in high school. So how that started was when I got to high school, my freshman football coach, he was also the wrestling coach. And after that first football season, he was like, "Hey man, I think you should really try wrestling. You'd probably be pretty good at it, and it'll help out your football." And I looked at him, I was like, "Nah, it's okay. I'm going to the NFL, so I'm fine." And they kind of just walked away. But he continued to pursue me that whole freshman year. Every time I saw him, he was like, "Hey man, I really think you should try wrestling. I think you'd be good at it. You'll benefit from it." I just kind of kept blowing him off. Sophomore year, I'm sitting on the sideline of the varsity. I'm not starting. He's like, "Hey man, you could be really, getting better. Wrestling could really help your football." And I was just like, "Listen." At this point, I was broken. I was like, if you leave me alone for the rest of my sophomore year, I promise you I'll try it. I'll come out to open mats my junior year. And he said okay and walked away. And every time I saw him after that, he never said anything about wrestling to me. I was waiting for him to say something. He never said anything. And then I'm like, okay, well, that worked. So, I go on my business. I played my football. And then, but beginning of my junior football season, I saw him. And he was like, "Hey man, I look forward to seeing you at open mats." Kind of like didn't know what he was talking about because I forgot, but he didn't forget. So I ended up trying out open mats, and I saw all my buddies were there from my football team. The culture was really fun. We had a great time. And I was like, all right, this isn't that bad. I tried open mats, did that for a couple of days, and the next thing you know, I joined the team. Started practicing, having some fun. We were a pretty good team in our area, so the culture was great. It was just a really fun and creative environment, and then ended up having a pretty decent first year. I took third in states, and then after that I was like, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna try twice as hard. I'm gonna try to do all the right things to become the best I can be. And then fast forward, and we're here at Camp Pendleton at the World Team Training Camp.
So you win a state title then as a senior in Connecticut?
I did. So I won a state title in Connecticut as a senior. We won states as a team my junior and senior year, which I think to be in Connecticut, to have some successes as a first year wrestler really allowed me to all right, it gave me an opportunity to be I can do this, right? I've had success, and then I came back my senior year really focused on trying to be the best, and then I won a state title as a senior, and then I realized after that wrestling was something I really liked, and that I needed to continue to get better. So rather than going off to college, after my senior year, I decided to do a postgraduate year at a private school in Connecticut. 1, to work on my grades. 2, to get another year of wrestling under my belt. I think ultimately that was a really smart decision because those two things definitely happened. I got better grades. I got an extra season under my belt, but it also allowed me to mature for 1 more year as a young man. So I think that was really pivotal for my success moving forward.
The story of how you got to Bloomsburg is pretty cool too. Pretty interesting, pretty funny.
Yeah.
Can you share that one too?
Yeah. So, being from Connecticut, there's one Division I wrestling school in Connecticut, Sacred Heart. At the time, I was really interested in wrestling Division I. I really thought I could, Division I was where I wanted to be at, the best division. So I went out, I emailed Sacred Heart, and I contacted them trying to get a visit. And the coaches, I guess, were too busy, and so I thought, all right, well, it's not that far away. So I had my coach drive me down to Sacred Heart for a visit. Went and walked around the campus. I tried to contact them and get a visit. They weren't available. So after that, I got back to Hyde, which is in northern Connecticut, and I was really salty about, I can wrestle there. Why are they not talking to me or contacting me back? And so I looked at their schedule and I was like, who do they wrestle? And I found a school that wrestled them and shut them out. And I was like, I'm gonna look at that school because I was so salty of how I was treated. So it's kind of petty, but I sent my information to Bloomsburg, and literally 10 minutes later, I got contacted by email You know, so I was really excited. Started talking to Coach Stutzman, and man, after that, just over the phone connection, I decided that's somewhere I wanted to go actually physically see. I hopped on a bus from Connecticut. The bus drove to New York City. I stayed in New York City overnight at a train station because I had to take a train. Took a train down to PA, hopped on another bus. The bus from there drove me all the way to Bloomsburg. So finally got to Bloomsburg, and man, after that visit, I just kind of knew that's where I needed to be at to develop as not only a wrestler but as a person in a culture where it was just everyone had each other's back.
That first open mat session, first time you got on the mat, what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were like, what am I doing? You know, like, what do I do? And I got my butt kicked. You know, my one football teammate, Brian Sylvester, he was my partner throughout my 2 years at, you know, in high school. He was really good. He was a state champion as a junior. He kicked my butt all that whole junior year, but he would also kick my butt and like, hey man, try doing this, right? So he would help me. He would kind of took me under his wing, kind of helped develop me, showed me, you know, this is what he does, this is, you know, where I need to work on, and he kind of helped me out, you know, which I really appreciate, because he could have just kicked my butt and just, you know, went on to someone else, but he took the time and he invested his time into me and helping me become a better wrestler.
What were the things that brought you back after that first time?
Just, it was fun. I mean, the culture was, I think, wrestling in Connecticut, you know, there's not that much depth of, you know, really talent.
But it's getting better, right?
It's getting a lot better, which is great to see, and you know, I continue to want to be a part of that. So at the time, you know, the top guys were pretty good, but you know, so I had some success early, and we actually won a state title that year as a team. So with me taking third place, I knew I contributed to that. It was fun. The culture was awesome. We worked really hard. We didn't really cut any corners. Our coach, he was all about hard work, and that's where he knew we would become our best on and off the mat. And to this day, he's still a mentor to me. I always contact, and I see him when I go to Connecticut. He comes down and sees me and my family. So we're really good connection and relationship. But the culture was great. It was fun. Hard work was fun, and seeing that was really like exciting. To work hard being fun, you don't really see that at a high school, you know, doing these things. So that brought me back, and again, just seeing all my friends who were already on the football team, and this got me closer to them, you know, another level of relationship, things we have in common, and that's just, our relationship like jumped levels. So that, you know, that kind of brought me into, you know, to the wrestling and to working hard and to trying, you know, even though I failed, I didn't, you know, maybe I didn't win all my matches, but man, I had, you know, there was some glimpse of hope of, you know, wow, I could be pretty good if I keep trying and keep developing.
Yeah, those early days, I imagine, you know, you go from not wrestling at all to placing third at state in a matter of months. The day-to-day stuff, when you feel that kind of improvement, what's that like?
Man, it's pretty cool. It's pretty tangible, because I can see, like, you know, from my career being so short, even so to now, right? My career being so short, wrestling as a junior, you know, I was like 16 or 17. Now I'm 28, so I've only been wrestling for, you know, roughly 11 years. So what I saw then in my development, I still see now, where I can wrestle someone, you know, in the beginning of a year, and I continue to develop, and I wrestle them again later in the year, and just the growth is so different. It's so drastic, because I think, you know, me not wrestling since I was 4 or 5, you know, my growth jumps levels a lot higher and faster than, you know, many people who've been wrestling since they were younger. So I feel that's something I see still to this day, and that kind of motivates me to continue to push myself when I lose, or, you know, when maybe if I don't win a tournament, or if I lose a match, like, to bounce back twice as hard, to train harder, because I know when I come back, I'm gonna come back better, and I can see it, I can feel it. So, you know, that kind of motivates me now, and it motivated me then. I'm wrestling with my buddy. He kicked my butt in the beginning of the year, and now I'm getting some takedowns in later in the year, and, you know, junior year I started kicking his butt too. So
it's pretty cool where the sport's taking you, places you've seen and things you've done.
Yeah.
And this has been one of those cool experiences, I think. You know, talking to you off camera, you've you've really been impressed with what you've seen out here. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Man, Camp Pendleton, it's a crazy place right now. It's a it's a military base, a Marine base, and being here for the past week really puts in perspective what we do. It's we may complain about, man, I'm sore today. I'll take the day off. I'll go get a massage, right? Or just whatever we complain about on the day-to-day basis. Being here, really just shows you, man, we're blessed to be able to have the opportunity to do that, to complain, to take days off of wrestling, see these guys work here day in and day out to go protect us, to go make what we do possible, to travel the country, travel internationally safely. And it's just been inspiring to me to be like, man, you got it made. I mean, no matter, as hard as it may seem, it's a blessing from the beginning to the end. So I'm really thankful to be here around the Marines, and it's pretty cool because we're here and we're like, we're all big-eyed with them, and like, man, we shake their hands, like, thank you for your service, and they're telling us some stories, and they're like giddy about seeing us. They're big-eyed with us, like, thank you for what you guys do. I'm like, man, what you guys do is way better than what we do, and they're just like, nah, man, you guys motivate us to do what we do. So it's like the relationship is really, really cool. I'm really thankful we have a relationship with the Marines that we do, and it's just I think it's important that we continue to build this and continue to push it out so everyone can see, that the Marines and the and wrestlers we're not that different. I mean, Marines obviously do way more than we do, but the mentality is the same. We want to be the best every day. We want to be better than we were yesterday, and I think that level of intensity gives us a level of respect naturally. Right when we see each other, it's like you knew him for you knew this guy for a long time because we respect what they do and they respect what we do.
Great stuff. Anything else for us?
I'll just thank you, man. I appreciate all you guys, and just it's been a great camp, and we look forward to the World Championships and competitions coming forward, and just thank you guys.